And we're back, folks, with another episode of I'd Lather Be Shaving. I'm Douglas Smythe from PhoenixShaving.com, and to my left,
Matt Pisarcik, Razor Emporium.
Today we are going to be looking at some epic collectibles. More so than we've done in the past, and we're going to talk pretty much about the whole thing around collectibles, like this stuff and that stuff and this stuff.
And what's with that can over there?
Dude, that's probably one of the most collectible things we have.
It's
my latest eBay score. It's my vintage Catch as Catch Can brand of canned laughter. Kosher style.
You said what? Canned what? Oh, laughter. Okay, I get it. You did say that. And I do hear the kosher style.
Right? We're pretty much inseparable these days.
Well, okay, you and your vintage Catch a Can of canned laughter.
Catch as Catch Can brand of canned laughter.
Kosher style. Well, yeah, this is pretty dumb, okay?
Dude! You dented it.
Well, I guess it's dead. That's such a shame. Oh well.
Jack the halls with real collectibles.
Tis the season for collectibles.
It is. It certainly is, folks. And hopefully you're going to be getting some of these under your Christmas tree or under your
shave den.
Oh, yeah, or shave den. Whatever you do, whatever you celebrate, hopefully you'll be getting some of these. Collectibles, folks. We've covered collectibles in the past, but this episode we thought we'd... Well, I was actually inspired by this picture. Yeah. In this picture, the guy's holding this old school razor. Like, where is this happening now? I mean, what is going on in this photograph? And what happened to the things he's holding? Which are these old, this old razor, this old prizes from something, some type of event.
Some type of event is right.
And I just started thinking, like, this has got to be in someone's, attic or basement.
Probably. Antique store.
And, like, this stuff before us was, I'm sure.
Right.
Like, I mean, and somehow it ended up our way, which is great. But some of this stuff has got to be seen in basements and attics. I encourage all of you to go digging through these basements and attics.
Dig, baby, dig.
But let's talk about some of this. Let's talk about collectibles in general, man.
Well, the very first thing about any of these collectibles, I always tell people when you get started, is you have to define what you're collecting. Because, like this picture we talked about, if your theme is big, giant store displays, that is a genre of collectibles. And I've actually walked into antique stores before where that's all they had was big store fixtures and displays and signs.
Ceramic signs.
Yeah, like these signs back behind us, these Gillette signs.
Yeah.
So that in itself can be a collection, but that's the number one thing you have to do is define. If you are someone who wants to collect double-edged razors, great, then you're collecting razors only. If you're collecting anything that says the word Gillette on it, you're going to be collecting soccer balls and pins and magnets, so it can very quickly get out of control. I remember this as a kid, like, oh, I'm really into the Charlotte Hornets. I don't know why I was into the Charlotte Hornets team. Well, before I knew it, I had a jersey and a jacket and a hat and playing cards, and it was too loose of a collection because it was just anything with Charlotte Hornets.
Yeah, and there's a lot of newbies in the shaving world now coming in every day, and they just buy everything thrown at them. And I'm telling you, folks, you're going to appreciate your collection a lot more, especially if you ever need to flip it someday.
Yes.
If you specialize or focus on one thing to collect.
Define it.
Yeah, define your collection.
And it can be a sentence. Like for me, I collect American Gillette double-edged razors.
And I collect everything else. European models and so on and so forth. Matt's the Gillette guy. I'm more of the EU guy when it comes to razors, vintage razors from the past. And those are, how we define our collections. And it keeps us on point and on track.
Yes.
And we're not spending a bunch of money in all different directions. We're building certain collections. And again, collections are great because if you do ever need to sell your collection, God willing, it's more valuable that way. It adds more value to the collection when it's defined.
Right, and that also helps to keep you on track when you're buying stuff. And if you're out and you come across something, you won't have that impulse buy. You can say, well, that's actually just not something that's in my collection.
Nothing I collect.
So that's the number one tip I always tell people when you get started.
And I agree. And these signs in the background, I think these are great for wet shaving dens, in your bathroom, in your man cave or whatnot.
And that brings up a great point. So when we talk about collectibles, the next part about any collection is how to care for it and how to store it. So
that's what I really wanted to cover on this episode, because we've talked about collections, but what do you do with them?
What do you do with them? So most of the guys who are probably watching today's episode, hi guys, and most people who are into double edge and wet shaving want to use the razors. And so the most logical place to put your items is going to be in the bathroom. Now, if you buy a really cool collectible razor, great, keep the razor in your bathroom, but when it comes to the presentation case, the box, the leather, the instructions, that stuff should go somewhere else.
That belongs in a museum.
You know, I've heard horror stories of some people that have had water damage just destroy their collectibles.
Or, yeah.
Do you want to touch upon that, Doug?
I would love to.
Tell me your story.
Well, you see, no. I used to keep stuff in my bathroom under the sink. I have one of those bathrooms.
Under the sink.
I have one of those bathrooms. There's a mosquito here. That's why I'm doing this while he's singing. It's not like I'm making kissy face. Okay, it looked like I was making kissy face. What is kissy face? It doesn't really matter. Anyways, I have
So
a
the sink, under the
two
sink.
sink bathroom when we moved in, his and his, or his and hers, or whatever. And one sink wasn't using, there was space underneath the sink. So I started storing some of my collectibles, my vintage gear and boxed gear under there. And sometime during the night, or months into the new house, the sink ended up leaking.
Big mistake.
Yeah, and I didn't realize that until I started smelling mildew, what was going on. And what was going on is it was eating away at my vintage stuff through the boxes and whatnot. So
the cardboard gets
storing your
ruined by
stuff
that.
in the bathroom, and especially in the bathroom, where the temperatures fluctuate up and down, the moisture level goes up and down, the humidity levels up and down, especially depending on how big your family is really. During the course of the day, different water levels.
Even sunlight. So Doug's absolutely right. Humidity and moisture
Just a bad
wreak
idea.
havoc. But the other thing can wreak havoc is actually sun.
Yeah.
So we always think about displaying
Especially
our
with aftershaves.
We always think about displaying our collection in a display case, and that's awesome. But even years ago, when I had a display case in my house, a huge case, I had it
I
away
remember
from
that case.
Yeah, I had it away from the windows on purpose, so that even when the sun would come in on an angle, you know, at the afternoon, it wouldn't actually hit my collection. It's like a vampire. You don't want the sun to hit your collection, because you'll notice any kind of ink, any kind of paper will start instantly getting faded out and destroyed by sun damage.
Kind of dust.
Yes. One of the best places to store your items is in a Tupperware container. This is a small one for like, maybe just 1 or 2 razors or a box, but you can get giant Tupperware containers at the grocery store or Walmart, Target, whatever kind of store out there. And those are awesome places to keep all the boxes and collectibles. Put the metal razors that you're gonna use, sure, in your bathroom, but put all the accessories, boxes, packaging safely away under your bed, in a basement,
But sealed.
Something, yeah, sealed.
And when it comes to boxes too, some of the old school razors came just in a box. There was no like foam insert or anything like that, but you can make your own foam inserts. You go to a hobby shop, you get some foam, and just to fill up that space in the box so you can store the box as is. Some people take out stuff and flatten the boxes. I think that just causes more damage to the creases and whatnot. So I keep foam in there. I've even used old school chalkboard erasers that somehow fit in boxes, just to keep the shape of the box. And then I seal it like Matt does. I do it in a Ziploc, and I put it inside of the Tupperware or those under the bed storage.
I have a couple of those.
Yeah, those are great as well. But in the dark.
In the dark,
Sealed
baby.
away from the air.
I'm in the dark in here! Al Pacino, Son of a Woman.
Hooah!
Bad guy coming through!
There's a bad guy coming through. Better get out of his way.
So back to some of these, lost collectibles. I think that it's really important to touch upon some of them. Doug was talking about this giant, razor he saw in this picture and where is it today. That's where a lot of
This picture.
Yeah, this one.
Where is it?
Some of these things do have a weird provenance. That's one of the coolest things if you can track down where something came from.
Stories.
The stories behind it. Like, one story I always wondered, Doug, is why the heck, if you want to open this up, this is Doug's collectible, why the heck would the Old Spice Company make a series of spoons?
Yeah.
So sometimes if we could just find out the story of this, if it was in Doug's display case, the story would be the provenance that really makes it worthwhile. And if you collect anything, the story is what sells it. For example, the story with this giant toggle razor that I've had for years now. The story is that someone put it on eBay who was a former employee, and they didn't really photograph it with a ruler next to it. So it was literally photographed, and people thought it was a normal size toggle. And so I got it for a steal, which a steal is a couple $100.
And did you know what it was?
I suspected because it just looked different to me, and it turned out when the shipping price was a dead giveaway, it was like $150 for shipping. That's solid brass. When it came, I was so excited because it was this giant razor. And the provenance on this was that it was made by Gillette for a convention, and I actually do have a picture here.
That's so funny. Yeah, you do.
I do. It's right here, Doug.
Oh yeah.
But more recently, let's talk about a recent collectible, because people always think collectibles have to happen from the past, but they can actually happen today. So just recently, Gillette put out a new Gillette Heritage Razor on Amazon that a lot of people in the wet shaving world were very excited to get. And it was this cool little leatherette travel kind of case razor.
I actually have not seen this in hand yet.
Yeah. And
It is leather or
leatherette, Texel,
Naga hide. Hide of Naga.
the kind of thing you put on a guitar amp.
Picture little Nagas going over the prairies and whatnot.
What is
Anyways,
a Naga?
I don't know.
So it's got the King C Gillette signature on the top. It's got the Diamond Arrow logo. It's got a 1930s style bar handle razor that's made in America, actually. And then the head is made by Mula in Germany. And it comes with a pack of platinum blades. Case is made in China. The entire thing was $35. But I'll tell you what, a lot of the guys out there were buying these for collectibles. In fact, some guys were buying 2 or 3.
Sealed, leaving them sealed. In the
Leaving
pack.
them sealed. And they're going to say, oh, I'll give this to my kid. And there was a lot of flack. We don't need to get into it. There's other videos I've put up just for this, oh, it wasn't a Gillette head. It's a German Mula head. It's a DE89 head.
Yeah, it was a little weird.
But guess what?
But the case is bitchy.
It still says Gillette, and it came from Gillette, and it came with this great little, piece of paper here. This is the kind of
I
thing.
understand both sides is what it all
Yeah,
comes down to.
you don't want to get this thing wet. That's part of the don't get this part wet. That'll
Yeah.
get ruined. But this is a collectible. It's a modern collectible, and I bought one just to have for myself. And I happened to be really lucky that Gillette sent me a really cool one in this nice gift wrap here.
Gillette, if you're watching, why didn't I get one?
Because you're a loser. No, I don't know. So there are modern collectibles that are on the market, and sometimes you have to recognize that. And like limited edition, collector's edition, limited run, those kind of things are really collectible.
Yeah.
Now, there has been a couple other examples of modern razors that have now become collectible. The first one I want to say is Trader Ray. So Trader Ray made razors like probably back in circa 2013, 2012. He actually was here from Scottsdale. And he made all these really cool razors that at the time sold for like, maybe $150, $200, I think. But then now, if you can get an original Trader Ray razor, they're worth like $350, $400 for a stainless steel, milled razor. It's unbelievable. In fact, Shane from Blackland Razors just put out a new version of the Trader Ray, and that's going to be something very, very unique to the market. That he had permission from the owner to reproduce his razor. Another one that comes to mind as you're shuffling through all these papers for some reason is
Just doing my homework.
raw shaving. So a couple other people know that there was a company who just came on the scene. He was at Big Shave East in 2016, 2017. Avi from Raw Shaving. He had, again, a beautiful line of stainless steel razors made in USA, handsomely packaged. I mean, probably the most elaborate upscale package I've ever seen before. And he went out of business. And so now his razors are basically instant collectible.
Yeah.
So collections are not just old, they can be new.
There can be. In fact, I mean, I've released a few razors that I don't no longer, the purple tips, I don't make them anymore. They're out there, and I've seen the prices on eBay, like, I can't even afford. That's not true. But, I mean, like, they do go for wonky prices. Holy Black puts out some stuff that they'll
Oh, yeah, Lavender Creeper.
Limited edition stuff is out there. I mean, for a lot of modern brands, a lot of artisan brands. So, yeah, that is also something that makes things collectible as well.
Yeah, it's just supply.
I mean,
Supply
look at
demand.
some of this stuff. I mean,
Random.
this is rando, and I've
corporate
shown
favors.
These are, I feel like this is probably a holiday party for everyone that worked at Old Spice. Got a pack of cards, Old Spice cards, made in Belgium.
That's random. Like,
Yeah, everyone knows about that. Oh, that's a dollar bill. Never mind. And so yeah, there's that. Back to storage. Oh no, there's also this too. This 75-year anniversary belt buckle from Gillette with Sharpie on the cover, and it has a cartridge and it has a double edge on the plate.
Where they came from and where they're going.
Diamond Anniversary Gillette Company. So this is a collectible too that was probably only available to, I don't know, executives,
Yeah.
some company, I mean, employees.
Company favor stuff, yeah.
Yeah, you don't know, and this stuff again, it's still, you can wear it. It's like this one is very much like a safety razor where you can still collect it and use it.
And that's actually a really, really great point you just came upon. I get this question all the time. Is this a collectible that I can use? Is it an antique I should use? Should I restore it? Should I replate it? And I think that's
good question.
That when it comes to razors, you can walk both lines. It's one of the few things I really say, it goes both ways. So I firmly believe in the people who don't want to take the silver patina off an old double ring or single ring. They want to keep it
but own another one.
Yes, yeah, and they want to touch it, and that's someone like me. My collection, as you guys know, most of the time it sits in a display case or in storage, and I look at them and I'm like, my razors, like Gollum, right? Very precious.
Yeah.
But
that.
there's other ones that you want to actually use it. And so, razors are kind of a utilitarian tool. And you're like, oh, it's functional. I want to use it. It was meant to be shaved with. And I totally get that argument too. So it can go both ways.
Was it meant to be in a museum?
Yes. And so I would say Doug's right that you should have one maybe as a pristine collectible, but then have a beat up one that you don't mind using.
Beater.
A beater. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Beater. I hardly know her.
Anyways.
The last thing, that's a great point. I was ready to say the same thing.
Yeah.
So part of storing things should be these.
This goes back to the moisture thing.
They're not salt and pepper packets, guys. They
And
taste
they're not
horrible.
the silica packets I've recommended in the past. In the past, I need to get this. Have I talked about this before? In the past, I recommended taking them out of vitamins, when you're done with your vitamins or aspirin or whatever you're taking.
Who takes vitamins?
I don't know what I'm talking about. But it typically comes with silica packets that are in these cloth bags or softer bags. And I've recommended throwing them in your DOP kit, in your suitcases, whatever, for years. And
Soup.
folks, I was wrong to recommend that. Take them out right now if they haven't burst already, because the cloth ones will break, and these little crystals or silica pellets will fly everywhere. They'll be everywhere in your luggage. They'll be everywhere in your DOP kit. Plastic ones. They actually sell these on Amazon right here. Yeah, under that name. Remember that name. But these come with nori or sushi wrap. Nori, the plastic ones. But those work the best. They'll absorb all the moisture and they won't burst, and they'll last forever because they're in plastic.
Yes. So I think we've covered everything we wanted to cover this episode. I
We
mean,
really want you to look at your collection, what you're collecting, how you're collecting it, how you're storing it.
yes. Be
Because
careful.
these are investments.
Yeah. And more than that, I always say you are now the custodian of history. If you let something like this go to waste and disappear, there may never be another one again. So take care of it, people.
Yeah.
And each other.
Take care of yourself and each other.
Thanks. If you enjoyed today's episode, please like, subscribe, comment. Do you want to rub some solid cologne on my elbows? Anyways, if you want to like, comment, subscribe, and you could win
A new car!
Yo!
You get a car! He gets a car! We all get a car!
I know this guy. Star Jelly, shaving soap,
Sorry, wrong show.
future fiction. It could be yours, folks. Do the right thing. And until next time, Eddie.
Shave on.